It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee. It no longer feels like summer. Got a little bit of fall in the air. And we are back at our digs at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. It got out earlier today, so I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. We are moving our show beginning next Monday to 94.9 FM. And we're very excited about that move, and we feel like it's going to do our show some good. Let me also take a moment and thank WNSR General Manager Ted Johnson. Ted has been a great friend to me for years, what I would call a radio lifer. And my hope is that Ted and I will remain friends, and I think we will, but this is a move that we felt we needed to make for the show and to increase the visibility of it. The new start time will be 3 to 5 p.m. And the reason for that's pretty simple. 94.9 carries a lot of play-by-play activity, and 3 to 5 gives us a much better shot of not being preempted very often. And so that's sort of the strategy behind moving the show to 3 to 5 p.m. Many of the same cast of characters that you have been watching and hearing over the last couple of years in podcast form will remain. With that in mind, let me say hello to Kelly Holcomb, who joins us from Murfreesboro. Kelly, I will tell you that you barely made the cut.
Oh, is that right? Well, you can go ahead and cut me, and I can go do something else. That would be sweet.
What are you going to do? Because your wife told me
Nothing.
She wants you the hell out of her hair.
No, she loves her some Kelly. I've already told you that. She's good with me. You know what I'm saying?
I think.
First of all, you hadn't talked to my wife, George, so quit lying to the audience.
You don't think she would engage in such ilk?
No, absolutely not. She would be like,
that's a fair statement.
Is this over? I am losing brain cells.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's great having you with us. I guess we move on from there to Billy.
To young
Billy. William. Wow. Hello, William.
Hello, George.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. Do you have any comments, anything you'd like to share? I didn't think so. Let's move on.
Well, I was going to say, if I didn't make the cut, I'll just head to Knoxville. I've got a spot out there.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check on that.
He has no money. He has no money for you, though, Billy, so you might want to get
Knoxville,
real chummy with
no,
old George, with old
Hold
Jorge.
Knoxville doesn't, or we don't?
No, Knoxville doesn't.
Oh, okay. I'm
We'll
not
have
sure.
to ask Tony about that.
I'm not sure we're rolling in the dough either. If you'd like to advertise, let me give you a phone number to call right now. Okay, every day, and it will not change when we make the move, other than the fact that Terry McCormick will come on an hour earlier. He may not have known that until now. Terry, of course, with Main Street Media, handles our daily Titans update from his palatial mansion.
How are you, George?
Terry, I'm doing good. By the way, notice the Royals colors?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with
you're
that.
just trying to jump on a bandwagon since your team is done.
Yes, and it's been done now for a good week. Love me some Bobby Witt Jr. What's going on with the Titans?
Well, today's the day off, but they get back at it tomorrow in preparation for one of Kelly's old teams, the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts come in. It's going to be interesting, George, because when you look at this Colts team, you wonder, are they better off short-term with Joe Flacco operating that offense? Much the same as people have been asking, are the Titans better off short-term with Mason Rudolph operating the offense? The answer to both those questions is probably yes, but the actual observation and the actual, depth of it is this. They've got to develop these young quarterbacks and play them and let those guys work through their mistakes, which is often painful, as we have seen here with Will Levis, and the Colts are experiencing much the same. Richardson dealing both with injury and inconsistency. So it's going to be interesting to see how the two teams handle it this week with their quarterback's health and with their other options.
Well, let's say it the way it is, Terry. If these two franchises roll out of this season still not sure of quite what they've got, then they haven't achieved much.
No, you're exactly right. And the thing of it is, when you go with one of these young quarterbacks, you've got to ride the storm out, so to speak, to borrow an expression from REO Speedwagon there. You've got to you got to just kind of see what you got in order to know if this is the guy or not. And even though it may cost you drives, it may cost you games, as we've seen with the Titans early on this year, you got to ride it out and see what it is, because the known commodity for both these teams is a 30-something-year-old quarterback that, there's probably no gold at the end of that rainbow. There's no pot of gold. There's 8 or 9 wins, maybe a playoff berth, and picking somewhere in the middle of the draft. So when you've got a young guy and you see flashes of what he can do, but it's also mixed in with troubling results like fumbles and interceptions and injuries, then you've got to see, okay, can we coach that part out of him so that he can give us more and maybe be an actual franchise quarterback who can lead you deep into the playoffs? And if he can't, then you're probably going to lose enough games that a year or so from now, you may want to pick somebody else and try to develop them.
Yeah, and the interesting part is, when does a GM walk into a head coach and ask that question so that he knows what path he's taking? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think either team is close to being there yet, but I certainly do think that by the end of the year, both the Titans and the Colts need to know if their guy's on the right trajectory or not. And if they're not, then you got to start reassessing everything.
You got that right. Terry, anything else?
Well, that'll do it until tomorrow when they actually hit the practice field, and we'll see how it goes with Levis. We'll see, who else is accounted for and not accounted for on the practice field.
I breathlessly await that. Please join us.
You will, George. In the meantime, go Yankees.
Yeah, whatever.
Wow. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, Terry.
Figures you would. You'd be rooting for the Russians. God.
Hey, the Braves are out. Build a bridge and move on, George. Build a
you
bridge
know what?
and get over it.
There's not a team in the world that could have survived all those injuries. So you just stuff it.
Yeah. You need Kelly. Kelly is just a ball of sunshine on this show.
Correct. A ball of honesty, that's for sure.
Sunshine like a hemorrhoid.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
He keeps you in check, and that's good.
Terry, I see a song in your future. Maybe some sort of a John Denver tune. A ray of sunshine. Talk to you.
See ya.
Okay, good stuff. Billy, do you have an update of any value with any meat on the bone?
I think it's a pretty solid update today.
Do you really?
I think Laura Burnett Leland would agree with that.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean it today. It's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. Log on to mortgageladyusa.com or give her a call, 615-969-4350. All right, this morning, the Jets fired Robert Saleh.
Oh, Coach Saleh.
After a 2-3 start, Jets owner Woody Johnson made a stunning move. This is his first in-season coaching change in 25 years of ownership.
Kelly, they have made the right move. This wasn't going anywhere under Coach Saleh.
I think you're right, George, and I think a lot of it had to do with his quarterback, man. I think he didn't. I just saw it was a game. It was one of the first games where they won, but like Aaron Rodgers gave him a look like, dude, like, will you chill out, man, and relax? I mean, we've got a long way to go here, and he was all giddy, and I just I don't know if there was some closed door meetings. I'm sure I don't know if Aaron Rodgers was in there, but wow, that was just to get fired this early in the season had to be some nasty stuff happening.
It was the owner's decision and his alone, is what he said. So,
Whatever. I mean, please, you don't think that somebody didn't pick up a phone to old Aaron? Now, I will say this. I don't think that they talked to the kid from BYU who's now in
Zach, you think they consulted Zach Wilson?
I don't think they. Zach, even though you're no longer with the team, what do you think?
According to sources, Robert Saleh was shocked.
Well, if he was, then he's a blithering idiot.
I'll say that
you could see this one coming a mile away.
This isn't related to their defense, though. I mean, this is a lack of much on offense.
No, but I've never seen a press conference where they walk in and say, and our new head coach of defense is Robert Saleh. You're the head coach of both squads.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that's becoming more common.
Yeah. Look.
But
who's the interim,
if this had to
Billy?
happen. The interim is a guy named Jeff Ulbrich, their defensive coordinator.
Jeff Ulbrich. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Am I being a little too cynical to say if you didn't see this sort of coming, you're a fool?
I mean, I thought it was a little early. I mean, they're not 0-5. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know enough of it.
They're taking on, as George's old expression,
They're taking on
water for sure.
Yeah, this quarterback isn't 28.
Yeah, they cannot protect him. That's the one thing. I mean, he can move around, and he's still got a little bit of movement. He can move around a little, not like when he was in his 20s, but you got to be able to protect. They can't protect him.
Does this not feel like a scapegoat thing? Is this not more on the general manager?
No, I think what it is, first of all, your offense sucks, but Nathaniel Hackett stays. That tells me that old number 12 knew something and might have been in the middle of it.
That's a good point on Hackett.
Look, there is an urgency to the Jets. This guy is 40 years old, and they got to win in the next year or two, and Robert Saleh wasn't going to get them there.
Yeah, and he obviously lost the locker room too, so it was probably, though early, it was probably time.
So Saleh's out, but Drake May is in New England. He takes over as the starting quarterback. He's the third overall pick in the draft, replacing Jacoby Brissett as they host the Texans in a big game. Patriots are desperate, but it doesn't feel like this season's going much of anywhere for New England.
You didn't hear Jacoby Brissett say, "I'm shocked."
That's true. In college football, Georgia wide receiver Colby Young was arrested this morning on misdemeanor charges of battery and assault of an unborn child. Young played 2 years at Miami before joining Georgia in December. In quote from Georgia Athletic Department spokesperson, "This is a pending legal matter. We will have no further comment at this time." I think Georgia's got a serious problem. It's gone. I mean, it's gone too far.
It really has gone too far. And Kirby's going to start catching some crap because this is starting to look like a long rap sheet.
And you get into the season, we thought, I think, okay, it's in the off season, but now you're into the season, and this guy's he's their best receiver right now because you just lost Ra Thomas before the year. Still got Lovett, but that's not good.
How many things have happened though, guys, that we haven't heard about?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, there's a lot more stuff underneath the rug that nobody knows.
I mean, this feels like we're waiting on some big explosion scandal report coming out. You know, kind of similar to the Northwestern. It was a different situation with the hazing stuff, but I mean, that's what this feels like. I don't know if it ever comes out, but
it doesn't look good.
In baseball, last night, obviously, the Royals beat the Yankees. We talked about that Tigers-Guardians game underway in New York. No score between the Phillies and the Mets. That's on FS1. Tonight, Dodgers and Padres, Game 3. The Padres have reminded fans about their zero-tolerance policy for bad behavior ahead of tonight's Game 3 against the Dodgers. It got contentious Sunday night. Tempers flared on the field and in the stands at Dodger Stadium. Game 2 was delayed for 12 minutes after fans tossed baseballs in the direction of Jurickson Profar. And there was a play, he robbed a home run of Mookie Betts, and then he stared the fans down. But, I mean, I don't think that gives the fans the right to start.
Absolutely not. Fans should never be doing that kind of thing. However, the Padres need to remind their third baseman about zero tolerance.
Machado.
So when you asked me the question yesterday, Kelly, about the Padres, Manny Machado is a really good player. He's always been a dog, and he's still a dog. And I don't mean that in a nice way. Right. He threw a baseball in the direction of Dave Roberts, the Dodger manager, who is one of the classiest people going in baseball. Manny Machado is well, I can't say it.
Well, Danny said it when you weren't on that Thursday. Danny was talking about he's not a Machado fan.
Oh, I'm not a Machado fan.
Never has been.
I'm totally disgusted. And what I don't see is anybody on the Padres side saying, yep, what he did was wrong. We've discussed it internally. It ain't going to happen again.
Well, this is an ugly rivalry.
It's filthy.
I mean, this is just the beginning of that in this series.
Guess who wins tonight?
Padres.
Oh, I can't tell you that until Plaster Bet of the Day. I mean, it's top secret until then. I went Padres.
Exactly.
There's your early
so much for that. Yeah.
Okay, after the break,
killing us.
Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville. We got a lot to talk to him about. Stay tuned. This will be a really good session as you listen or watch, in this case.
Mostly watch.
Well, I would hope it is. The George Plaster Show.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Okay, a lot to talk about. So let's head right up to Knoxville, Tennessee, where even though Tony Basilio will act like he's very interested in what we're doing, to his left may be a television watching his beloved Phillies.
Very good call. It's to my right. That's a good call. Good call. I'm with you there. Aaron Nola looking sharp in the first inning.
Left or right on your radio dial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, they have been at home so good in the playoffs over the last couple of years. It feels like the Mets have brought a little more juice to the table than the Braves did the last couple of years.
We'll see. Baseball playoffs are crazy, George, and I heard you guys did that series with the Padres the other night. When that Profar guy caught that ball and took it from that fan, that home run ball, and then faked like he was going to give him the ball and then laughed at him, you knew that thing was going to get ugly.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
That was fun.
Okay, so let's get to what people want to hear you talk about.
That wasn't fun.
No, it felt totally different. I didn't feel the zip. The execution wasn't anywhere near as sharp.
Yeah.
Had something gone on before the game that we don't know about?
I don't think so, George. And that's what it looked like. I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. Like a friend of mine said, can you find out what happened internally? And I just think Tennessee had one of those nights where they were flat. They didn't play well. I mean, look, when you put your uniform on 12 times a year, how can you be flat? But they were. It's one of the great mysteries. It's kind of like the way Alabama looked with Vanderbilt the other day. I mean, how do you explain that? Other than to say, look, it's why we love the sport. I thought Tennessee was going to absolutely hammer Arkansas. I apologized. Look, I was on till 3:30 Eastern time. So I was on like 4.5 hours after that game. And I bet I apologized 30 times. Because, I mean, when you're wrong, you have to own it. And I just can't believe what I saw. And really, now we have to come to grips with the fact that Tennessee offensively under this coach, for the first time, they don't have answers. That's the first time in the Josh Heupel era. Tennessee fans can look at their football team and go, you know what? We don't have answers offensively. This team just does not have answers right now. They better find some answers, but they don't have answers.
Why do you think they don't?
The Arkansas game, George, was a breakdown of epic proportions from the perspective of the offensive line was brutal the other night, just brutal. And the other thing that's happening is a 3-high safety look is what is Josh Heupel's kryptonite, dating back to 2018 when they used to face Tulsa And that's what they did. That's what Tulsa did to him. And his team struggled against it. Georgia did it to him a couple years ago, the really hot team. Missouri did it to him last year. And so far this year, NC State did it, but Tennessee got in 12 personnel and ran them over. NC State knew they were going to get run over anyway. That's how they play. And then Oklahoma did it. And I think Tennessee was a little surprised by Oklahoma doing it, but then they were shocked when Arkansas did it.
Tony, I want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, finish where you were going.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I want to show that every once in a while I do a little bit of show prep.
Yeah.
And Billy, if you will, put the graphic up there. I know you're saying in just a minute. And what it's going to do, the graphic will show Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama, and the really tough games remaining.
Yeah.
But Tony, if you look, what really has gone on is that the Arkansas, the Vandys, and the Kentuckys have now created a thing where three of those teams no longer have as much margin for error as they did.
George, this league, look, the saying in the NFL is any given Sunday, because truly anybody can be anybody in that league. And outside of Mississippi State in this league right now, what's happened here, and it's transfer portal, it's the deal. Anybody can beat anybody, can beat anybody. Tennessee could lose to Florida Saturday. If they don't play right and they commit 8 or 9 penalties again and they're sloppy and they're listless, Florida will beat them. Alabama obviously could beat them. Kentucky, if they weren't Kentucky and the way they're playing right now, probably would be able to beat them. Mississippi State couldn't beat most high school teams, so we'll take them out of the equation. Obviously, the Georgia game speaks for itself. The UTEP game is the game I love because that's the game where we're getting a couple hundred children into the Tennessee game for our Machi tailgate this year. Kids who have one or both parents incarcerated. It's a beautiful thing, and we could use your tickets. Please go to the link over at our website at tclub.team. We could use your tickets.
Hold on. Stop there. I love what you're doing. Say it again. That's awesome.
It's for Amachi. It's for Amachi Knoxville. It is a mentoring program. One or both parents of these children, these beautiful children, have one or both parents incarcerated. We have many kids each year. It's the first time they've ever been on Tennessee's campus, let alone to a football game. It is the Super Bowl of the world to these young people. We throw them a big tailgate. A couple of our patrons for it pay $2,500 a month. They live in Nashville, George, and they pay for it every year. Neil's sweet family came up last year to see it, his wife and his kids. It's the most beautiful thing ever. And by the way, at Vanderbilt is very much now a losable game for the Vols if that Pavia guy is standing up. Because as I told you guys earlier this year, it dawned on me early in the season, Vanderbilt has a credible football team. Now, I didn't know they were that credible, but I will be honest with you, I put a few dollars on them on Saturday. I wasn't expecting them to pull the money line there, Billy Derrick. I was not expecting them to pull the money line.
What would the money line have paid?
Are you kidding?
It was plus 2,200.
2,200?
Yeah.
That's a nice return.
By the way, guys, offshore last week, now that we're talking gambling, if you wanted to bet on that kid from Boise to score a touchdown, that running back, that Genty guy, or however you say his name, you only had to lay $4,400 to win 100. He scored on his first carry.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So looking at Tennessee's schedule, is it as simple as now saying they must beat either Alabama at home or Georgia on the road, or they are more than 50-50 not getting in? They're
cooked. They lose 3 games, they're cooked. We know that. I mean, first of all, the schedule hasn't been that great to begin with, right? Which is kind of an issue. NC State and Oklahoma aren't as good as they were supposed to be. I mean, there's just a lot of there's a lot about their schedule that's, leaves a lot to be desired. It's not their fault those teams weren't good. They attempted to play a representative schedule, but to me, it's this simple. To me, it's hold serve in your building. You're home now for a month. Beat Florida, beat Alabama, beat Kentucky, beat Mississippi State, and then let's talk about it. You know,
Okay.
They can afford to lose a Georgia game.
I'm going to ask you one more thing and then turn it over to Mr. Sunshine, Kelly Holcomb, Mr. Positive. Is what Arkansas attempted to do in beating Tennessee now the blueprint that everybody else is going to use?
That's a great question for Kelly, because I don't know how hard it is. Look, Sam Pittman said last week in his teleconference on Wednesday, he said, you know, we saw some things, what NC State did, and we decided, you know, we're going to try that. And I thought, well, nobody can just change what they do defensively in 1 week. They played 6 games in a row. They played a rigorous A&M game or very physical game the week before. And they changed what they do, and they did it. I mean, they went out there defensively and did it. Kelly, explain that to me. How do you do that? And execute like that. And execute like that.
You really can. I mean, it's if you could bottle that stuff up, you don't like coaches always wonder why a team comes out flat. You have a great week of practice and you come out flat, and then you have to catch up in the game. And sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but like that, nobody really knows. It's just human beings playing, and I don't know. It's just it's a crazy deal. What surprised you? Since I'm going now, I guess, George, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And before we get going, hey, Tony, I want to know this. Have you got any money to pay Billy? Because George has already said that he may fire him. So have you got?
I never said I was going to fire it.
No, you didn't. I'm putting words in your mouth. But hey, let's build on it.
Did you say, have I got any money to pay Billy, or do I have any money? Because we could just start with, do you have any money?
No, to pay Billy.
No.
To pay Billy.
No.
To pay Billy.
No and no.
No and no. Billy, not the vote of.
How am I going to pay Billy? I can barely
not
pay
the vote of confidence. Let's put Billy on the screen here. That was not the. Oh,
no, Billy. I just don't have any money. It's not just that I have money for you. I have money for Kelly. I have money for George. I have money. I don't have any money.
We got no dinero.
No dinero.
I'll have to rethink that then.
We got something going on here, and George said that I made the cut, but he wasn't sure about Billy, and then Billy wanted to run his mouth saying, well, it's okay because I got a job in Knoxville, and I'm like, I guarantee you Tony doesn't have the money for you, Billy, so I just was wondering.
I was hoping maybe there was a chance, but I guess not.
The resume needed more meat on the bone.
Needed Tony right now is not into this interview. He's into his Phillies.
Oh,
I can
the
tell
Phillies.
by his face.
Yeah.
I can tell by his face. Hey, Tony, what surprised you about that game the other day? Was there anything that's really surprised you? I mean, I was surprised at how it was kind of like the Alabama deal. Alabama, which for 40 years, 23 games, 27 games, I don't remember, but they could show up and beat Vanderbilt, and the other day it didn't happen, and it just seemed the same kind of deal with UT. UT hasn't been very successful when they play Arkansas at Arkansas, but they just felt like, hey, we're the number 4 team in the country. We can just show up and play, and defensively, that wasn't the team that I've been used to seeing.
Vols were unplugged. That was the weird thing about it. The body language. Yeah. And really, look, they faced a quarterback till he got hurt. They faced a quarterback who had the ability to extend plays and make plays downfield. And I was saying, everybody was talking about how their secondary had arrived. And, I'm a show-me guy. And until they played somebody that could throw the ball downfield, that just wasn't the case. I didn't believe it. No offense to the competition they played. The competition they played in the first month, though, sort of did a service to them from that perspective, because you got false beliefs, and Tennessee's still a team with a shaky secondary that, in the right situations, is going to give up plays, just like most teams in college football have a shaky secondary. It isn't just them. But they're not exactly what we call the Georgia Bulldogs at this point back there. So that's not a surprise. What was a surprise to me was just the way their offensive line did not come to play. And what it did as the night went on, it made Nico look less and less instinctive, less and less the player he can be. I mean, he was lame by the end of the game. He was not good Saturday night. But that offensive line did not cooperate at all. I mean, there were times where, and this is mystifying to me to say this, but Arkansas created havoc and pressure and havoc with rushing 3 players against 5. Should that ever be? I mean, does that math work for you?
No, it does not. When you
Did
can
Tennessee's tackle play the other night? I mean, let me find an adjective for this. Their offensive tackles were dreadful and disgraceful.
Hey, so I got to go back to this. I got to go back to this cover 3 deal, this middle of the field closed deal. Is that a real thing? Like he struggles with middle of the field closed? Josh Heupel calling plays? Does he struggle with that?
That is the anecdote
Kryptonite.
to beat him is kryptonite.
Cover 3? How about throwing curl flat, Hoss? I can tell him. Do I need to call him curl flat? That's all you got to throw.
How many curl flats you see the other night?
Well, I mean, everybody got these crazy where they want to throw it inside. They want to do rail routes. They want to get guys out, and they want to do it. Just go back to simple football. Keep it simple, stupid.
I wonder if they do that because, Kelly, when I watch Nico, I'm looking at a kid who looks like he's got smoke coming. The game's going really fast for him. He's not getting help up front. And my question is, why are you not taking that kid and look at the end of the game when they had to have that drive? Okay. He rolls out and throws a dart downfield, and Thornton high points it.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that all night long? It wasn't until they had urgency that they were playing from behind that they actually got him on the edge. Why are they not getting him on the edge? If my offensive line can't block and I've got a young quarterback, I'm not going to let him play from the pocket anyway. Another thing you guys will notice, the other night there were no of these RPOs.
Yeah.
And I think it was because he struggled so much with it in the Oklahoma game that they just said, hey, for now, we're just going to take this stuff out. Hey, guys, they're not going to beat Alabama in Heupel's offense if they don't run RPOs. They're just not. They're not going to be able to score enough points. You guys think 22 or 23 points is enough to beat Alabama?
No.
No, the other night,
Yeah,
the other night, I mean, we still got to understand, and we still got to remember. You've talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. He's ultra talented. He's a big kid. He throws the ball really smooth, but he's still a redshirt freshman. And I brought up the other night, the last play of the game. You just can't do that. You've got to give your guys an opportunity. And I'm not sure if he knew he was over the line when he started running or not. But you've got to throw that ball up into the end zone. If you know that you cannot make a play running the football and get into the end zone, you have got to throw that ball up, whether it gets picked off or not. And that just kind of showed his inexperience. And I don't know if I'm sure the coaches got after him after that, but like, that's just showing that he's a redshirt freshman and he needs more experience.
Well, I've never seen it. I've seen it twice here now because Joe Milton did it a couple years ago, ran out of bounds with a ball at the end of a game. So, I mean, those two guys to me are the answer to a trivia question, and they both play for my team. I mean, have you ever in your life seen anybody do high school level? You ever seen anybody do that? I've seen kids get sacked. I mean, I can live with that. If you run around back there and you get sacked and I'm mad at you for not getting the throw off, I can understand that. If you run out of bounds on that's the last play of the game, son. I mean, what are we doing here? We are trying to score.
What did you do when he did that, Tony? Did you pull your hair out?
Well, we were in here, and I'm getting ready for the show, and I'm over here pushing my button, and George knows us, and I'm going to go live as soon as this thing's over. And I'm watching that, and in real time, I mean, we're just – if you go back and listen to the beginning of that show the other night, our intro is like a minute and a half long, and it gives us a chance to get everything going in here. And I just cut the intro off, and I'm like, I got to talk. I can't believe what I just saw. I'm going, and here's the thing about Nico. And again, this is another apology that I made today, and I mean this. It was really irresponsible of people like me to be putting this kid way up here before he got up there. And see, that's the truth.
Told
One
you not
thing
so
about me,
fast, my
Kelly,
friend.
Kelly, I'll be wrong, but I won't stay wrong. Okay. That's one of my favorite sayings in life that I learned from a very wise person. We all in this industry will be wrong, but you can't stay wrong. And when you're wrong, you have to admit you're wrong. Nico is he's a clump of clay right now. That's what he is, man. And they got to form him. And for people like me to be saying he's the best quarterback in the league before he ever takes a snap, and that came out of my mouth, is really stupid. And it really does the kid a disservice. Hey, George, I can tell by Kelly's body language that he's really enjoying this.
Oh, I know.
Loving
I know.
being
I try
in
to tell,
here because I tell on myself, Kelly, it's the truth, man. Because I don't respect it. Yeah.
I tried to tell George about the Will Levis deal, and he's finally come on board. It's just it's hard to play quarterback, and just because you're talented, you got the arm. You have to be able to, in situations, be able to compete and be able to think clearly. And sometimes guys can't do that. Sometimes guys are ultra talented, like you saw Joe Milton, but he just sometimes it takes experience, and sometimes. I don't know. It's hard to play that position. It really is, and play it consistently. You don't want to be too high, too low. You got to stay in the middle. And when you're a redshirt freshman, man, it is tough because in the Southeastern Conference, you got bullets coming at you every week. And if you are not grounded, it's tough, man. Tough.
Listen, guys, there's a deal in this league where now this is one thing I was saying back in the summer. You really don't know what you have in a player till you get in a spot like you did the other night with that kid.
Yep.
Now, you can't make a judgment about him and say he can't play. But I'll tell you this, when a guy runs out of bounds with the ball like that, and Tennessee mismanages that clock the way they did, because they had 2 times they should have called timeouts. He gets a first down, and they run it up to the 37-yard line and gives them a little life. You got to get a timeout there. You can't let 16 seconds run off the clock before you snap the ball. Then you throw the ball downfield, and they waste another 17 seconds. You got to get those. And then one of their timeouts they took later on with the clock was stopped. I'm going. I'll give Heupel credit. Yesterday at the press conference, a media member
he admitted it.
Did you revisit? And he said, "I totally screwed that up." Which, hey, we had guys here in Butch Jones who, when the math didn't work after a game, said, "Well, my chart said that's what you did." And we're all going, "Well, dude, you need to get your chart. You need to get a calculator out and redo your chart."
Here's the chart, the psycho chart.
And because he looked like Sergeant Carter, George, we were calling him Sergeant Charter the rest of the year.
Wow. Billy, put up the more important deal from Chester.
Oh, wow.
He's still waiting.
Have it die hard. You had somebody just pop up there, George, saying that they're concerned about the conservative play calling. Listen, here's something I've come to grips with. It's not conservative to protect your quarterback. When your offensive line is not blocking, you are not. Listen, I came into that game last week thinking they were going to attack downfield. They tried it early in the game, and he ate the football 2 or 3 times. Go back and watch it. You are not being conservative when your quarterback can't breathe back there. It's called you're being smart. You're trying to stay in a football game. Fans don't understand that, Kelly, do they? And I'm not picking at a fan, but it's a truth.
Hey, I know. Sorry, George. One more thing, though. When all these kids come in as 4 and 5 stars, I don't care about the 4 and 5 stars. I want to know that can a quarterback hang in there when the middle linebacker's not protected and throw a seam route knowing he's going to get hit in his mouth and he's going to get his nose busted. That's the only thing that truly matters as a quarterback. You have to be able to think during situations like that. And the other night he failed, but he's young. He's young.
Hey, guys, this season's so crazy and so off the rails right now. And I admitted this on the air today, okay? My favorite player to watch in the SEC, quarterback's Vanderbilt. I love that guy, and here's why. He reminds me of the kid that used to play, that Marshall Henderson guy on a football field. That's who this kid reminds me of.
At Ole Miss. Yeah. Wow.
Hey, listen, what is Vanderbilt? What was their win total coming into the year?
0.
Okay, I mean, what I mean is
2.5.
Before
biggest
they
win
played a
total.
game.
It was like 2.
Thank
Yeah.
you, George. Like
You're
3,
welcome.
I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
How many wins is this kid worth if he stays healthy to them?
At least 5, 6.
I mean, could you
5 or
say he's
6.
the MVP in the league? It's unbelievable
Yeah,
how good he
I
is.
still don't think
You know
people
as well,
realize.
yeah, you know as
He's
well as I do,
unbelievable,
though.
Billy.
Yeah.
He's unfreaking. And listen, I was like, they're getting this kid from New Mexico State. I knew he was a nice player, but that's the transfer portal. And you give this guy at Vanderbilt a lot of credit to say, I don't have the answers. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm bringing your whole coaching. I'm bringing all your offensive coaches in. We don't have any answers.
We're
So
bringing
help
them
me.
all.
That's called
Okay.
being smart.
So
Yes.
part of the reason, Kelly, that you sensed that at least at one point Tony seemed a little preoccupied, Mets won nothing.
Oh boy.
What's
Oh,
worse
I don't
than
know.
that? It was about to be Mets 1-0 in first and second, nobody out, but they overturned the call. So in the middle of you all doing what you were doing, I was really heavily monitoring, and I've developed the ability, like you have, George, through the years to multitask,
Yes.
have 3 conversations at once, keep all the balls in the air. It's my
Right.
form of juggling. I can't juggle, but I am coordinated in that way.
We had one happen. This would have been, I want to say 2008.
Yeah.
Where I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I'm talking, but I'm looking, and all of a sudden I see Tom Glavine signs with the Mets. We welcome all of you. Oh, no. And everybody in the studio just laughed their butt off because it was, we welcome. Oh, no.
That's awesome.
It was the worst nightmare to see that. It killed me. Tell people how they can hear you.
tclub.team is where you find me. Again, tclub.team. We have a couple thousand words up there today. Tomorrow, Watson. I mean, this whole 3 high safety thing, it's got everybody flummoxed here. Listen, Kelly, you'll love this. I had 2 people send me ChatGPT's answer for how you solve that defense today. I had another guy send me a link to somebody's playbook and how you solve that defense. And so we're looking for solutions here, Kelly, if you want to throw your hat in the ring.
It's called curl flat, Tony. That's all you got to. It's a very simple curl flat. That's all you
But
got to do.
why would this guy struggle with it for 5 years then if it's called curl flat?
Because they want it. Sometimes coaches want to be the reason why we win because it's my offense. We want to be the reason instead of just saying,
Kelly calling out my man Josh Heupel.
Yeah, listen
Kelly
to
calling
it.
out my man Josh Heupel in real time
I don't
here.
know if I don't know if he's like that. I'm just saying a lot of coaches are. They want to be the reason.
Tony, Kelly seems engaged today.
I will say, listen, I will say for once, because my Phillies are probably going to choke out today. Kelly was a lot more engaged in my segment today than I am. So there.
That's okay. You are forgiven.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Hey, have a great night. Thanks.
We'll go to the break on that. It'll be a quick third segment. Stay tuned. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you need to contact Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you are a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. Check them out today at pancoastbenefits.com or call 615-292-3400.
So we're back. We made the announcement earlier today, let the cat out of the bag, that beginning next Monday, our show will move to 94.9 on the FM dial. There it is. We're excited about this move. We think it's going to give the show more visibility. We also think it's going to help the show in some guests, things that we want to do. Very excited about that. And it will now have a 3 to 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time deal, and it will also continue to be done in podcast form as well. I want to say a big thank you real quickly to Ted Johnson, who is the general manager of WNSR. Been a good friend for a long time. Had thoroughly enjoyed him being our general manager. That said, I feel very strongly, and I know Billy and Kelly do, that this is going to be a good move for our show. I don't know. It's hard to know about the moving it an hour earlier. Some people will like it, others will not. But I hope you'll give it a try radio-wise starting Monday on 94.9 FM.
Yeah, just turn it down the dial a little bit, and you can still listen if you go to it'll technically be 1025thegame.com, theGameNashville.com, I think is their site, and you can pick which station. We're obviously 94.9, not 1025, but you have to, if you want to listen live on their site, if you're driving and you can't, maybe you're not where you can listen to it on radio in your car, you can also listen to it on their site live, on their stream, their app, and then also YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, afterwards, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So
as has been the case for the last couple of years. Kelly?
Yeah, I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the move. I think it's going to help us, and I just enjoy talking with you guys, talking sports. It's fun. I get to get after Billy, which I love. I get to get after George, which I also love. To bring a ray of sunshine to everyone. I'm just open for everyone.
You truly
that was
are
one of the better lines from Terry in a while.
You are truly everybody's vitamin C.
That's right, baby.
But, so can you, in plain English, tell me about this cover 3 thing?
I've never heard that. Like it's a coverage, George. It's a coverage, and I'm not sure that I buy into that. I don't know people that struggle with it. I'm not sure that I buy into it. But if they're saying it's real, they keep in touch with it closer than I do. It's just a middle of the field close safety. You got 3 guys, got a third of the field. The right corner's got a third of the field. The safety's got a third of the field. The left corner's got a third of the field, and then the other underneath guys, you got 2 curl flat guys and 2 hook curl guys, and that's what that stuff is. So I don't understand. Like, now I will say this, and I wasn't calling out Josh Heupel, but coaches sometimes want to be the reason. They want to have all these crazy formations and all these crazy routes, when sometimes my coach told me a long time ago, the best route in the world is a curl route. And you know what? After all the many years that I played football, he's probably right, because you've leveraged the corner. You come back to the ball. If you are in front of him and you keep coming as a receiver, you can't do anything with it if you're a DB. Now, the underneath guys have to take their drops, and they're the ones that have to defend that. But a curl route is the easiest route to throw. It's the easiest route to complete, and that's what you throw against cover 3, middle of the field close, middle of the field open. That means there's 2 safeties. It can be quarters. It can be cover 2. But, like, it's a coverage, George, and I don't understand. Like, now they do sometimes, when the corners are off, they limit you getting over the top. They're not playing man. Man is easy. If they're bump and run, you got a guy that can win. Like we had Marvin Harrison, who was in the Hall of Fame. They wouldn't come up and bump and run Marvin, but it's easier when you got guys that can run. But cover 3 cuts down on those deep balls, and you just got to adjust. Curl flat.
Yeah, a couple good comments here. From Slim. Hendon Hooker was great at clock management, and he really was. He was older. He played a ton of football, like you said, Kelly. How much of this is Nico being a sophomore, technically a freshman? I mean, he didn't play much last year, right? His only meaningful action was in the bowl game against a pretty good defense.
Which gave him no reason to worry about clock management.
Right, but this was his first, like Tony said, his first real challenge. Okay, you got under a minute to go win a game. Like you said, Kelly, that's not easy. And Hendon Hooker,
no.
I mean, that's a good comment. Without a quarterback that old, I mean, you saw it late in the game with Pavia against Alabama. There's still 2 minutes left, and that's a different offense.
Guys, there's reasons why in the NFL quarterbacks get paid all the money. There's a reason for that. They have to be situational guys. They have to understand the game. It's experience. Experience teaches you everything. And when you're a redshirt freshman, and that was the first time, I mean, you've kind of had a vacation with the games that you've played so far, but the other day it got a little heated and you were away from home and it came down to the end of the game, and that's the first time he experienced that. He'll get better with it. They'll get better, but they're trying to figure out what he can do and what he can't do right now, and they're doing that on the fly.
But that's not the only thing that got them beat. I didn't see the kind of zip on the defensive side of the ball, the quickness, the zip, the scary kind of look they've been showing people, which had a friend of mine asking, is there something internal going on we don't know about?
Well, it typically happens on the road, too.
True.
I mean, there's a clunker every year from Heupel. I wonder if this extends.
Well, when Dick Gabriel joins us in a few minutes, he and I can get into what goes on the road, because both of us at some point in our career have been sideline announcers, and sideline announcers are the people who know first, exactly like the night the whiskey bottle got chunked at me in Baton Rouge. No, it did not. The late Doc Crease saw to it that I got some shelter.
Nice. Good old Doc. I know Doc well.
Billy, what do you got by way of stat of the day? And if we bomb on it, we'll just throw it at Dick and make him answer it.
Here we go. We're going to NFL. Which player has the most fantasy points so far this season in any position?
Okay, I have to sort of plead the fifth because I don't play fantasy. So when you ask that question, under whose classification, is this DraftKings, is this FanDuel? What is the criteria?
It doesn't matter. They all get the same points, George. So, Billy, is it a quarterback?
It is a quarterback, yep.
Okay, hold on here. So we're looking for people. Is the quarterback judged on passing yards? What's he judged on?
Passing and rushing.
It's Lamar. I'm going to say Lamar Jackson.
Hold on a second. Before you put an answer up there, could it be Kirk Cousins, who just threw for 5 billetes against old Tampa Bay?
That's a good one too. That's a good one too, George.
Billetes.
I'm still going to go Lamar.
Put it up there.
Lamar, Patrick, Mahomes.
One of the two better be up there.
Lamar.
Atta baby. Way to go, Kelly. We were all over it. Kirk Cousins second?
Kirk Cousins has got to be up there too.
Billetes.
Yeah,
whatever
that is.
5 bills.
I've got some breaking news. Do you want it now? Or
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. When we go over to 94.9, do you think we can get like a breaking news sounder?
I think we can make that work.
That would be such a help to the show.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
The NCAA Division I committee has officially shortened the transfer portal windows from 45 days to 30 days. So December 9th through December 28th is the first window, and the second window is April 16th to the 25th.
You delayed Dick Gabriel for that?
Yes, he did.
Hey,
my God,
that's
what is the world
That's
coming
what
to?
people have been asking for, though.
Okay,
Sure,
how much will that help the insanity?
I'm not a college football
Zero. 0.0. Shall we now bring Dick Gabriel to our microphones?
If you want
This
to.
man is as wired into Big Blue as it gets. Lexington's finest. Say hello to Dick Gabriel.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
How are you? How are things in Nash Vegas right now?
You know, honestly, I have seen more Vandy gear in the last 2 days than I'd seen in the last 2 years. Isn't that amazing?
Hey, it's good for the game.
Did you see any of it?
Oh, yeah. I was spinning the dial. I have the attention span of a fruit fly, so, I don't stay on one game or another. But I see the score, 7-0. I thought, oh, turn
That's
it.
nice.
And just as I turned it, pick 6. I'm like, well, look at this. Having covered Kentucky for a long time, as you know, and you've covered Vandy for a long time, we've seen brushes with greatness, near misses, heartbreak, the Bluegrass Miracle, all that stuff. So I thought, man, Vandy's going to flirt with it, but we had just seen Kentucky flirt with beating Georgia. Man, I started to notice this, and I asked Mark Stoops about it on Monday. Vandy played a really physical brand of football, and that's not new for Vandy. We've seen some really good Vandy defenses do that, but they did it on both sides of the ball. They got a magician for a quarterback, which helps. But more than anything, George, I thought, and Kelly, I thought they really set a tone. Now home field, but the visitor side was all red and white.
Yeah, it's not
I
home
really
field.
thought Vandy played with so much confidence, and I had seen them again flirt with a win over Mizzou on the road. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. But every time Alabama had what looked like an answer, Vandy responded. It was really impressive. I stayed with
similar
for somebody with no attention span. There's no way I'm turning that game off.
How similar was this to when Tim Couch beat Alabama?
It was, I can't say it was similar because, believe it or not, a lot of us thought Kentucky that night had a shot, because that was not, with all due respect, and it was one of the great wins in UK history, not a great Alabama team. It was a 500 team, and just wasn't loaded like so many Alabama teams. This is the number 1 team in the country, for crying out loud. And Kentucky, that Kentucky team under Mummy, of course, scored points in bunches, had future NFL talent at quarterback, at wideout, on a couple of guys on defense. So we weren't that shocked. I mean, yes, it was a big upset in terms of you beat the brand, but I think this Vandy win was more impressive, quite frankly.
So I can't figure your team out. I've got them dead and buried when I'm watching the South Carolina game. And then I'm sitting there, like you said, during the Georgia game going, I can't switch the channel. Where is this going? And then you go down to Ole Miss, a great, a road win against a top 10. What's the real Kentucky?
I think it's what you saw against Ole Miss, and you started to see at Georgia. And I think the reason is the offensive line. It was all about, it seemed, defense at Ole Miss, but keep in mind now, Kentucky's time of possession was just like Vandy's, was 2-1, was 40-20. And Ole Miss, Jackson Dart and those guys couldn't get on the field because Kentucky kept grinding out drives, didn't always end in the end zone, but held on to the football. And then when it did allow Ole Miss on the offense on the field, the defense did the job, which really it's done all year. That South Carolina game was an absolute clunker, as we all know, but the defense didn't play that poorly. The offense put it in a bad spot 2 or 3 different times. But the defense really, I think, acquitted itself superbly against Georgia and again against Ole Miss, which was not a surprise to us. We thought that would be the strength of the team. But this offensive line has gotten a little better and a little better. Now, Georgia, they are still poor at protecting the passer on an obvious passing down, which is why Stoops had to punt against Georgia on 4th and 8 when he did. People are still debating that. But, Georgia was destroying Kentucky on obvious passing downs. And Ole Miss had a lot of success as well, but had to respect the play action because they ran the ball so well. And that's another surprise. And by the way, I don't think the kid Kentucky recruited or signed away from Ohio State through the portal is going to play this week either. They tell us he had a setback in practice with the broken hand. So don't be surprised if he stays on the sideline, talking about train him. And I don't think you'll see the all-conference cornerback in Maxwell Hairston either.
Talk to me a little bit about Vandergriff because I loved his toughness in the Georgia game. And for that, that said, I loved Kentucky's. I felt like Kentucky emptied every barrel that you could empty to try to win that game. And, man, I love that when I see that in a team. So I guess I'm asking 2 things. Talk to me about Vandergriff, but also talk to me about what was their locker room like after the Georgia game. Were they pissed that they lost? Happy because, man, we've shown we belong? What was it?
They were sullen. They were angry. It wasn't one of these, oh, well, we came close. They knew they let a great opportunity get away. And really it came down to poor execution, poor communication on one play when Georgia needed a first down and was able to throw for one. And I'm told one of our analysts on radio side, Jeff Pecoro, told us that he believed it was a similar play that South Carolina burned them on twice, which was maddening. So after that Georgia game, yeah, they were ticked off. They really were. Now, in Oxford, and you've been in some of those locker rooms, I hope, after an upset win, I couldn't hear myself think doing the post-game show because we were right in the middle of it. We weren't in a separate room, and the music was killing us. So, it's one extreme to the other.
You want a great post-game story, sideline announcer?
Sure.
This will delay Kelly, and that's a good thing for you. So the last time Vandy beat Alabama in '84, I'm the young sideline announcer. And one of my jobs in an era where there wasn't a lot of college football on TV, you got the 2:30 game on ABC. So the post-game coaches show, people wanted to hear. And we've just gone down there and kicked the crap out of Alabama. And it's my job to get all the equipment situated properly for the George McIntyre postgame show.
Right, been there.
Okay, so according to Bob Horner, the engineer, he said it looked like Spaghetti Junction, that I had wires going in. And so Bryant Denny at the time held about 60,000, and I got word to Bob that we're in deep trouble. And he comes hauling down there, and he's pissed. And at one point, while I'm kind of watching what he's doing, goes, "You stand back here. You can't be of any help."
I've worked with Bob before.
Yes.
Engineers are funny like that. Engineers have a very healthy sense of self, which is important because they are your lifeline, isn't it?
You got that right.
Announcers have egos. Those guys, yeah, that's a good thing. They need that.
Yes. Well, he's a great friend, and I tell that story funny.
Very good. I work with him on NCAA Radio Network.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Kelly, Say hello to Dick Gabriel. Be nice to him. Be nice to
He's
somebody.
always nice
I
to
am.
me.
I'm nice to everybody but you, George. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean,
He's always
so
nice to me.
so Dick, y'all talked about. He asked you about Brock Vandergriff, and it's been kind of the inconsistent O-line play. But do you think he's, for a couple of years, do you think he's the answer if you can get some consistent O-line play?
Oh, yeah. In fact, Stoops talked about him at his news conference yesterday about how nothing rattles him. And I think the biggest difference, quite frankly, and you can appreciate this, is experience. Yeah, he was a backup, but what does that mean? Well, he learned in a good system and he practiced against really good players at Georgia. So what's going to rattle him when he's had the guys in the silver britches coming at him every day in practice? And now he's finally got a chance to play. And I think he's being coached pretty well, quite frankly. But I think he's got a good offensive coordinator. He's got a good offense that is much simpler than what they had last year when the verbiage was dragging everybody down and you had an OC that didn't want to adjust to that. So, but just in terms of his personality, and here's a guy, Kelly, that's waited for his chance to play. He's not going to get out there and freak out. Plus, much like Will Levis did, and I think I told you guys this the last time I was with you, he earned the respect of his teammates very quickly, and he got a chance to get there earlier than Levis did. Levis had to wait through the summer because he was still going to school at Penn State. Brock got here in the spring and got a chance to go through spring with these guys, and you guys know that's a huge thing. And so he got a chance to show his teammates that he could be a leader for them, and they appreciated that.
I got you. So what? So far this year, Dick, what has surprised you about this Kentucky football team? Did you think the defense could be as good as they are, and just the inconsistent play on offense because of the O-line? What has surprised you so far this season?
The O-line did not surprise me, frankly, because it was one of these deals where I thought to myself, you're going to have to prove it to me, because the big blue wall that everybody likes to talk about, that offensive line has started that tradition. I think all 5 guys got a shot at the NFL, and 3 of them made it. That was a really talented line. And their recruiting fell off, quite frankly, a little bit when it came to the O-line. They lost John Schlarman, of course, the O-line coach, very popular and very skilled, who passed away. They've had some turnover at the O-line coach position, so nothing was very settled there. So I thought, show me and I'll believe you. I think what has surprised me the most, quite frankly, is the back 4, not so much the back 7, but the back 4, they've dealt with injuries. They've played with really young guys back there. Hairston's been down for the last 3 games. He's the all-conference candidate. Was all-conference last year. And yet, because the front 4, the front 7 are making plays, that's allowed those defensive backs to make plays as well. They have made mistakes, but I think that has been a pleasant surprise to me. I thought especially the cornerback opposite Maxwell Hairston would be a problem, but so far, knocking on wood, so good. But that has been a pleasant surprise. Now they'll be, as you know, they'll be tested Saturday because they're going to have to show a lot of discipline against the Magic Man.
That is correct. So talking about the Magic Man, what concerns you? Because I know you talked to Coach Stoops. So what concerns him? I mean, you look at what they've done. They've only fumbled. They're not turning the ball over. Vanderbilt does not turn the ball over. He has thrown no picks. They've only had 1 fumble all year. They had time of possession the other day was 42 minutes against Alabama, which really started to frustrate the Alabama defense because just like we had Watson Brown on yesterday, just like that triple option stuff in the gun. That's hard to stop, and this kid has run it at New Mexico State, and then Clark Lee's brought his whole staff here offensively, so he kind of knows the deal. That's frustrating to them, and then third downs. I mean, the guy is unbelievable on keeping the chains moving, keeping the offense on the field and the other offense off the field. So what is concerning to Coach Stoops?
Kentucky's biggest problem last year defensively was keeping teams from moving the chains, especially with the chunk plays, what they like to call explosives. And they've done a better job at that this year, but they were still damaged by South Carolina a little bit. And, they were able to minimize that. I think they only gave up 1 against Ole Miss. They did a good job of containing Jackson Dart. And you guys know he can extend a play and is an accurate thrower, well, that's just a description of Diego Flavia. I think he's better than Jackson Dart at that element of the game. So they are really going to have to, and it's easy to say, try to keep him in the pocket, keep him from extending plays. But what they've done really well this year, Kelly, is communicate and be disciplined. And as you know, the offense that you just described, the reason coaches love it is because it puts so much pressure on every defender to do his job, whether it be man-to-man or zone, and as often as not is man-to-man. I don't know if they'll put a spy on Flavia or not, but they did a decent job on Jackson Dart. It's a different set of problems, but a similar set of problems coming up Saturday.
So my last question, Dick, is the other day you get Alabama beat, you get Tennessee beat, you get Michigan beat, you get Missouri. They're all in the top 10. And is this like the new wave of the future with all this stuff? And I think it's because of the transfer portal. Because if you're in tune to that, and if you're a coach that can handle that, and you can get guys to conform to your system, you can turn a team around. It's just like NFL free agency. But are we going to see this in the new wave? I mean, is this a new wave where a team that's not ranked can beat a number one team, just like happened in Nashville the other day?
I don't know if a team that's not ranked could be number one, but I think you already know the answer. The answer is yes. And I will point you to a different sport and a different team. I was watching Kentucky's volleyball team the other day, 7 straight SEC titles, either sharing or outright. And Craig Skinner's did a marvelous job there. National Coach of the Year 3 years ago when they won a national title. That team, the depth on that squad, the kids on the sideline, guys, they could have joined the SEC as a separate squad like Rick Pitino's backups used to be and acquit themselves well. They don't have nearly the depth right now. A couple of injuries. They got Texas coming in, but they don't have the depth because players have left via the portal. The best player on Texas's team started off at Kentucky. Player of the year in the conference last year at Georgia started off at Kentucky. So kids, you don't get the PT early. They're leaving for greener pastures, and you're seeing that, I think, clearly in college football. Harder to build depth. You're still going to have the traditional powers doing their thing for obvious reasons, tradition, depth, NIL deals, all that. But I think just as you guys remember when teams, you're a little bit older like I am, when teams could sign 1 million players and keep them away from the other teams, other schools. Well, once they started to reduce scholarship numbers, guys went elsewhere, and the parity began. I think this has accelerated the parity. One man's opinion.
Yeah. Am I reciprocating later?
I hope so.
You never sent me a time.
I know, because quite frankly, I got to find out when are you free.
Oh, okay.
Shoot me a text when you're off the air.
You know what? I will do that here in just a moment. Dick, as always, it's awesome.
I got a couple other interviews booked ahead of you, so be patient.
Well, and they should rank ahead.
No way are they more important.
No.
Oh, gosh.
Kelly,
Stop.
How could that be?
Kelly, give us your ranking of the importance of the interviews.
Everybody's more important than you, George. So you're on the bottom of the list, Hoss.
One of them is Chris Doring from the SEC Network.
Definitely, yeah.
That's one of my best friends.
One of them is Van. Well, I'll tell him you said hello. One of them is Van Hiles, who played a big game in Kentucky, shut out of Vandy in 1996. Bill Curry's last home game at Kentucky.
Yes, I did that game on radio. Our star of the game for that game was our punter. I kid you not. It was
I've been there, brother.
It was true.
I've been player of the game with the punter, and the punter himself said, "This is really bad when the punter's the player of the game." He said that, not me.
It's embarrassing. I'll yap at you here in a minute.
All right,
Dick. Thank you as always.
See you, brother.
See you guys.
Dick Gabriel. I always say it this way. He is as wired into the UK scene as any human being going, and has been a great friend over the years. After the break, we'll meet another really good friend. He's the program director of 102.5, 94.9, and maybe even 8:30 a.m. Chase McCabe on the other side when we come back.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. So we made the announcement earlier today that our show beginning on Monday will move to 94.9 FM, 3 to 5 p.m. And that time slot is simply so we can avoid a lot of the preemptions. 94.9 has a lot of play-by-play on it, has a lot of really good stuff. It's now an ESPN radio affiliate. And they're doing a lot of really good things. And now they're bringing us on locally from 3 to 5 p.m. Their program director is no stranger to any of you. Chase McCabe has been in this market. Looky there, got his own microphone.
Yeah, I'm fancy.
Wow.
What can I say?
Is that the homestead?
This is the homestead.
Really?
We're out here in West Nashville on the farm, as I like to call it. This has been in the family for a while, so this is home now.
Okay, and it's got its own microphone. This is big time.
It does.
So tell me a little bit about what you all are trying to do with 94.9.
Well, yeah, and thanks for having me, Kelly. Good to see you. It's been a minute as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously we have 102.5 The Game, which you are familiar with, George, and that has become kind of our flagship over the years with the Predators and our local programming. And a few years ago, we had a secondary signal in 94.9 that we wanted to do more with, and so even though it carries a lot of national programming, we've made it, Vanderbilt, a lot of their games, their basketball games, women's basketball, that's their home, the Nashville Sounds, NASCAR. So we're running a lot of different things. We kind of thought about it would be cool to have some sort of local anchor programming on there. And so I'm glad you and I were able to talk, and our GM Sean Fort getting involved and bringing you all over, because obviously it gives fans a choice, of what they want to listen to sports talk wise, but it all stays in the same family. And so I'm thrilled. I'm glad that we're able to work it out, and you guys are able to come over. Obviously worked with you for a long time, George, and you too, Kelly. So I think this will be a great reuniting, so to speak.
Nice.
Should we sing a song reuniting?
We'll let Willie do that. How about that?
Yeah. I don't think we need that. Although I've talked to Willie, he approved of the move.
Yeah, he's excited about. I mean, look, I think you can get Willie to agree to anything this week after Saturday.
Yeah, that and the fact that I'm looking here, Mets 2-0. Bottom 5.
Okay.
And they're beating Aaron Nola, and that's pretty good stuff. I think the Mets have got a real shot to win this series, and I think it's the Mets and the Padres when it's all said and done.
I agree with you. And look, the Padres were fun. I mean, they're kind of fun to watch just because of that lineup, but the Mets just won't go away. So I think that, I feel like the Yankees are probably coming out of the American League. I could be wrong, but the National League's definitely shaping up to be fun.
One of the things that I'm excited about, and I know you are too, is the ability to kind of cross promote.
Yep.
Because as you mentioned, a lot of the guys that are over there, I've worked with. Some I got into radio, others were smart and got the hell away from me. No, seriously, there's some obvious friendships there, and I want both sides to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking forward to as well. Is we'll be able to do a lot of the cross promotion. I mean, one of the things that you already hear is Silly Underdogs, which we kind of have ours. And Kelly, I'm going to need you to come on someday and shut Chris Sanders up, because the trash talking is unbearable, and Derek Mason too. So, you've dealt with them before, but so there are different things that we can do, obviously. And you mentioned us all working together. I mean, that's what makes this so much fun, is that camaraderie is already there. So I'm looking forward to the cross promotion aspect that we have, whether it's me or Willie or Robbie Stanley or Joe Rexrow, Joe Dubin, whoever, and then everybody involved in your show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Did I
Chase,
hear
Chase? George, that's I've been urging George to come with you, because I'm off Silly Underdogs now. Y'all treat me like I got leper because I was with another radio station, so now I've got leprosy. I can't even get on. I've been on that thing for 20 years, and now I don't get to hear Chris with his stupid picks and Derek with his
they think I'm a communist.
Personality. Yeah, and George is still a communist, and George is leading our competition right now, Chase, which is disgraceful and embarrassing.
Did Chris take Isaac Litton one week?
I probably. I mean,
Linwood.
Here's what I'm shocked. We are all shocked. He didn't take Vandy, and we all had it penciled in that he was going to take Vandy against Alabama. We were all going to make fun of him, and he would have won. He would have won the competition. Like, it'd have been over.
He's the one that takes the massive underdogs everywhere. Everybody just rips him.
And he hits on it every now and then, and he gets a huge boost, and then that creates him over the finish line. It's crazy. Is he winning right now?
He took Lenore Ryan one time last year.
Chase, is he winning?
He is. He took Vanderbilt. He took Vanderbilt the first week against Virginia Tech, and then there was another one the next week, and he hit both of them. I hit 3 in a row to start the year, but I was kind of playing like you, touchdown or less, and just inching my way, and it's just unbelievable.
Do we get jump?
You do get jump. I tweeted it at you earlier today. I don't know if you've looked at it yet, but yeah, there will be
George
a song.
George doesn't know how to tweet, Chase.
Oh,
He has to have
hold on.
Billy do that for him.
Hold on a second. Chase found out earlier today that there's some technological advancement been going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
He knows how to send photos. I'm pretty impressed.
Wow.
Chase needed
wow.
something. What did you think? How did you think George would send it to you? That's my question. And when
I said, if you want to get Billy to take a picture and send it, he goes, now hold on, now I can do that.
He just openly said it. You need to get Billy to, and I was like, screw Billy. I can do this. I'm capable, sort of.
Hey, I'm impressed.
Sorta.
You've come a long
So
way.
let me ask you this, because one thing we have lacked. Okay, and it's Billy's fault, and I know Kelly agrees with me.
Straight Billy's fault.
Yeah.
A breaking news sounder.
Oh,
is that possible?
We can get you one of those.
Do you have one right there in that barn?
I don't, but I can get you one.
Okay.
I can definitely make something happen.
We need one.
We do.
I can do that. We can, but yes, jump will be a part of things. I know there are some people that didn't understand what that meant, but jump is a brand, and we will make sure that it is a part of your intro.
And I let that person know how stupid they are. Chase, looking forward to this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Our group is really excited, and thank you for making us feel so welcome.
Absolutely. I'm excited too, and it'll be fun to work with you all. And the director is back, so looking forward to that.
Director's had more comebacks than Denny McClain. Talk to you soon.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Chase McCabe, he's the program director at 102.5 at 94.9. And Chase, I know you're still there. Are you the program director of 830? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes,
he's back.
Yes,
okay. So that's on that's on your business card.
Yeah, I guess the title is Director of Operations and Sports Programming.
Where's your suit and tie, Hoss? Where's your three-piece suit today? I mean, good gracious. What
I
are you
know.
doing? You're an important guy.
I just wear the brand, so
free.
Killing me, Smalls.
It was free. That's correct.
It is free.
Join George's world. George's world is free.
Exactly.
See you tomorrow, Chase. I taught everybody well.
See ya.
Now, not only should you wear free stuff when you can, but you need to listen to me to make more money. Yet another victory last night. Plaster Bet of the Day is coming up next.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you need to contact Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you are a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. Check them out today at pancoastbenefits.com or call 615-292-3400.
Final segment on a Tuesday. A couple of baseball games tonight. We'll see if George can keep it rolling. It's time for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. But first, see what happened last night as the Chiefs got a win and covered.
You know, it got weird at one point. The interception on the tipped ball in the end zone.
Big
Kelly.
man.
Yeah, and at that point I was like, I'm going to lose because of that?
Nah. Patrick Mahomes, man, it don't matter who he has. As long as they got Patrick Mahomes, they're good right now.
He is truly the magician.
He's good.
He's got a little Pavia in him.
The Mets right now, if you're watching this live, are leading Philly 2-0 in the top of the sixth. The Phillies have first and second with one out.
Citi Field is on fire.
Yeah.
What's the series at right now? What is it?
Dead even, 1-1.
1-1, okay.
Okay. I'm going with the Padres tonight. It will be a big-time electric atmosphere in San Diego, but that's not why I'm taking them. The former Vandy pitcher, Walker Buehler, has simply not been the same pitcher since he's come back from injury. Now, I hope for his sake, a year from now, that he's better. But the only reason he's starting in this series is all the other Dodgers starting rotation injuries. He just simply hadn't been that good. Michael King, I'm afraid I know something about him. 6 shutout innings against Atlanta in Game 1. I'd never seen him look that good before, but good for him. I think the Padres win tonight. Let me also throw out one other thing before we end. Tonight, I want to say at like 9 o'clock, ESPN's got a hockey triple header, and Game 3 is the first game in Utah. And pay attention.
Where are they playing in
where the Jazz play? And all I'm going to say for now is this. I believe that this ability to acquire this Utah franchise, they were the Arizona Coyotes, is lifting Salt Lake City to the very top of the Major League Baseball expansion for out west. I think if this goes well for them, this is going to propel a real possibility. Salt Lake City's lead gun is former Atlanta Brave great Dale Murphy. And I think they've got their stuff together. While I think Nashville is the leader on this side of the country for the expansion team in the East, I'm starting to think Salt Lake City with Vegas having gotten the A's, has now moved ahead of Portland. I can't prove that, but I think that.
Wow.
That's another city. They've got a triple A team?
Salt Lake
there?
City.
The Salt Lake
Yeah,
Bees?
I think they do.
Wonder what they'd do with that.
They take their beehive and go elsewhere.
That's correct.
I mean, that's how it works.
Well, I wonder because Kelly brought that up, like with Nashville. What happens? I know this is probably a stupid question, but what happens to the Sounds?
They go to somewhere else.
You just ship them off somewhere else?
Well, I mean, they move to another city, likely with a different name.
Okay.
It's just the way it works. It's like the old Atlanta Crackers. Atlanta had a minor league team called the Atlanta Crackers before the Braves moved out of Milwaukee. There's your history lesson.
Yeah, thanks, George. Useless information.
Kelly, it's always great to have you on as well.
Ray of sunshine.
All that sunshine that you spread.
I do bring a lot of sunshine, a lot of positive atmosphere around this deal here.
Kind of like that hurricane that's headed toward Tampa. Hey, see you tomorrow.
See y'all.
Thank you.